independent journalism looks like.
Smash that like for the MG Show. Subscribe now. Ring that bell. Let's go. Smash that like for the MG Show. Yeah. Let's go.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Welcome, everybody. It is the MG Show. You are in the right place. Make sure you share this show. We're going to have a really special guest today, Matthew Thayer. He's been on this show before. He's a good friend of the show as well. We want to bring him in today to talk about his upcoming documentary that's going to be released on 9/10/2026. And it's about Charlie Kirk's and his last interview. And Matthew Thayer had the last interview. Shady, get on in here. Let's talk about it. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. So excited to have Matthew back, and we are. Thank you guys, all of you, so much for being here and supporting independent journalism. What we have uncovered in America is an unbelievable push against what it is that Donald Trump is doing and what MAGA America First, the things that you all believe in, standing up for years. And what Charlie believed in and stood up for alongside of all of us. And so, yeah, it's really great to have Matt here today to talk to you guys a little bit about his new movie.
So we're going to do that. We're going to talk to Matthew, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about the declass that just happened, Shady Groove. Oh, my goodness. The Oxford, OXFERD, comma, Shady. The Oxford, comma. Misspellings matter, Shady. Where have we heard that before? I don't know.
Well, we have definitely heard that before, and I think that's a very interesting thing because this is a brand new reveal. Remember, we just saw the interview yesterday with the FBI Director Cash, and he kind of there was a couple hints that he dropped along the way there. So very interesting that this is what we wake up to today in our headlines. And by the way, guys, sorry about last night. We're going to get everything in order, and we're going to be back next Tuesday. We had a catastrophic failure last night.
Yeah, and it happens, guys. We'll pray for next Tuesday, guys, because we want the Q Lounge live as well. So basically, with this Oxford misspellings matter, okay? Comey even said, I love Oxford commas in 2017, Shady.
It's crazy.
Crazy, okay? So they fabricated, amplified the Russia threat, forced an investigation, threat resistance, firing Comey as further proof Okay, treat any resistance in firing Comey as further proof that that Trump is a Russian asset. Booga booga, and then install a special counsel. It's all laid out by the Q post that we covered during Q. It's all here. I'm sure it's just a pesky coincidence, Shady.
It's just a little coincidence that we had a lot of this evidence before, and now it's being backed up by reality. And exactly like whenever we reported on it years ago, the media is going to do their dead level best to not acknowledge any of these things. It's very interesting to see the knots that they're twisting themselves into to not say the truth and to make up stories around things that are true. Not a word about the election stuff. Not a word about all of this interference with the voting information, voting states withholding their information. Not a story about that. None of these things are priorities. But by the way, Jeff, guess what you have to get into Mondami's communist grocery store?
You need an ID.
Have an ID to get food, dude. I mean, I'm just saying.
So we'll cover that too. But I want to, because I got a funny, that Xerxes, I can't remember who that guy's name is. He's awesome. He does AI. And he did a Friends little skit, and I'm going to show that to you later. It's funny. You got Joey and Chandler with Trump in the middle, and then in the other apartment with the girls, you got Mondami sitting there, and it's called The One Where They Need IDs for Vegetables. Because you know how they always have the one the titles to all Friends says the one where and that so. Amazing. All right, so let's set the stage. We've got Matthew Thayer here for me. Can you hear me now? Official documentary trailer. Let's set the stage with the trailer, and we'll bring Matthew right in. Check it out.
Thank you.
Where do you get your information?
All a weird symbol of censure.
Point being
About that one.
say America, this paper, America has lost its way.
Why do you believe what you believe?
I would have dreams and then they would come to pass.
Why do I believe what I believe? If God exists, how would he inject his information into our world? More than likely, he would use humans.
And I began to recognize that there was something going on in my life, that maybe I had a gift.
I want to hear your voice. I want to experience and see what you've made for us to experience. It's just hearing the voice of the Lord and being faithful to it.
I had a dream where Jesus appeared in the dream. And I heard a voice, and it began to speak to me.
Some people absolutely have the gift of prophecy.
But how does this apply to America?
It's up for us Christians to understand that it is the Word of God that needs to be the bedrock of any functioning and flourishing civilization.
When you hear his voice in the mouths of his messengers, it tunes people into knowing what he sounds like.
What is a false prophet?
What people don't understand is that the kingdom of darkness has a level of accuracy.
Satan would love Christians to just be a spectator, not engage, not participate.
You just have to have the right receiver.
A word from a prophet should never be an excuse for inaction or apathy.
That conversation happened 2 weeks to the minute before Charlie was.
It doesn't take a majority. It takes one person willing to stand up.
Why would God have me be one of the last people to interview Charlie before he died? Is there something he's trying to say?
Tune in 9/10/2026 Spiro Pictures. Matthew Thayer. Can you hear me now? Wow. Very powerful trailer, Matthew.
Thank
Matt.
you.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good to see you guys again. It's always nice to be sandwiched between you two.
It's nice to have you back, sir.
We got you in you're in the middle now. You better watch out.
All right.
But welcome to the MG Show. We've had you in the past with another movie that was pretty epic as well. And this one, Can You Hear Me Now, is the that we just watched the official documentary trailer. And I just want to just start it off. Obviously, hello. Maybe just tell people a little bit about you, and then let's go into your journey, and then we'll talk about Charlie.
Yeah, sure. So I've been a filmmaker for almost a couple decades now. Started off in corporate commercial stuff, did a bunch of short films, more corporate and commercial stuff. And then in 2020, I was asked by a friend of mine who had some connections. He was a producer, and he had some connections into the Trump world. So knew Laura Trump real well, and she opened up a bunch of doors for us to interview mostly women, but about 35 people within the Trump organization, the family, the businesses, the administration, and just to get a kind of inside look at who Donald Trump is from people that actually know him. And the result of that was called The Trump I Know. That was the first full-length documentary that I did, and it's still available on Amazon Prime. And then since then, this is now the 7th documentary that I've done in 6 years. Covered election fraud, covered the rise of the patriotic conferences that we met at during the Biden administration, even the weaponization of government with the series called The Enemy Within, and so it was just kind of crazy when we got kind of tagged to do this project, and we were like, hey, we need somebody. We're having a conversation around separation of church and state, and we just need somebody to speak into that, and who better to speak into that than Charlie Kirk? So we reached out to Turning Point. They agreed. And what was crazy was that we were actually asking for a September interview with him. And he said, I can't, September is booked, but I have a window of opportunity on August 27th if you can fly to Phoenix. And so we did. I met with him at 1:00 on the August 27th, 2025, and had a 45 minutes with him, had a great interview. And then 2 weeks later, as we were moving and I was packing up my U-Haul, all of a sudden my phone's blowing up. Charlie's been shot, and I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And in a film, that is all about really what God is trying to say in the middle of this information war. It kind of was like, that was the question that I was asked, at the end of the trailer. It's like, what are you trying to say, God? Like, what are you trying to say through this? Why was I, handed this? And so the film is a result of that. And it was one of the most difficult projects I've ever had to work on for a variety of different reasons. Yeah. But I'm really proud of the way that it's come out, and test screenings have been overwhelmingly positive. So.
Excellent. Because you made, what is that, 7 documentaries now? How many did you just say?
7 full-length documentaries in the last 6 years. Yeah.
And you grew up wanting to be a documentary filmmaker, right? That's what you wanted to do. You're like, I'm going to do it, right?
No. Well,
you're good at it.
I did not want to make documentaries. I actually even I taught classes on filmmaking, making short films. We would take a group of students through the process of making a short film, and I always loved narrative. I always loved scripted work. Wanted to do that. I actually, when I was 13 years old, saw Aladdin for the first time. Wanted to be an animator a long time ago. I saw because what happened was I was 13 years old and I watched the credits. I think it was like the 3rd time that I had seen it in the theaters, and all of a sudden my 13-year-old brain goes, wait, these are the names of adults, and these are the titles of their jobs, and they're getting paid. Oh my gosh. You could get paid to do this. This would be amazing, And so I set out to be an animator, but, and then God kind of arrested me at a really low point in my life back in 2026. And I had kind of put all of that on the shelf. I had said, I just got to take care of my family. I got to sell mortgages. I got to be an escrow officer. I got to just do what I can do to put, food on the table. And all of a sudden my life just, kind of fell apart. And I was just laying there on the ground going like, all right, Lord, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, well, that thing that you have put in your heart that you've always wanted to do, but you've never done, you could probably do that. And I was like, oh, and so I just looked for every opportunity to start engaging in the role of directing and learning the whole filmmaking process, and so yeah. But when that event, it was kind of interesting because in the film, can you hear me now? I actually tell the story, a truncated version of the story of how that Trump I Know kind of came to me, and it was at that moment where I was trying, I've always been politically active from the standpoint of believing that it's important, following political cycles, all of that. engaging in a lot of the stuff that, I know you guys talk about in the show, and kind of being that crazy village person that's going like, why isn't anybody ever seeing this? But I had kind of kept a lot of that to myself, just because, you're out in the corporate world, you're just, you're just making commercials for people. You're not trying to air out your political belief systems with people. And so when all of a sudden I was asked to do something of, my first, I'm on a trajectory towards Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like I want to make movies. I want
Hollywood great again.
Yeah, exactly. I want to make great movies and big movies. And all of a sudden, this opportunity is handed to me to make a film about Trump, and I'm like, well, that's drawing a line in the sand. And
oops.
Like I could potentially be blackballed. From Hollywood by, as a guy who made a positive film about Trump. And, and in that moment, I can't, God just kind of arrested me. He's like, why do you care what they think?
Yeah.
And he showed me the interior of America, and he's like, that's your audience, get to know them. And so I said, yes. And, like I said, I mean, the fact that I've had the opportunity to make 7 feature films, and now all of them documentaries. But I kind of realized, like, if we're in an information war, and I know how to tell stories, and stories are one of the, weapons of the information war, then, I need to be a part of manufacturing some of those weapons that people can use to help get the information that needs to be out there. And documentaries just happen to all of a sudden just explode. Like, there's so many more people now that love documentaries. When I say like, oh, I'm, make documentaries. Oh, I love documentaries. That didn't used to be a thing. Like documentaries were like a nerd thing. People didn't really watch documentaries, but now it's just exploded. And it's just interesting to see how God's timing kind of worked out in that way. And now, here I've got, 7 feature films underneath of my belt in 6 years. And, kind of shows that, like when you listen to the voice of the Lord, he can really direct you to do some pretty amazing things.
Amen to that. So in the film, you were asking where the beliefs come from, and you compare it to like an operating system running on a good or bad information, right? Why do you believe what you believe? So why frame a film about the prophets as a film about information? Very good.
Well, because if you look at the Bible narrative, it's always been about information, right? You look back to the first interaction in the Garden of Eden, and what is the enemy trying to do? He's trying to twist the narrative. He's trying to twist the information, and so there's always, we don't battle against flesh and blood. We battle against principalities and powers and forces in the air. And I know you guys, know that Satan exists, and the forces of evil are a thing. And when you open yourself up to that, then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, wow, okay, God has been trying to get his information into the conversation all throughout, recorded history. And so, one of the ways that he does that is through prophetic voices. And so, and you can see that again through the biblical narrative. So so it just made sense to me, because it's like, if we are actually in a middle of an information war, my question has always been, what are the weapons that that are deployed in an information war? And counter narratives are definitely one of those ways, and information is one of those ways. And if God is a good God, and he really is trying to direct humanity down a good path, then he's going to be trying to get that information to us in some way, of a shape or form.
Yeah, that's really good. Go ahead, JD.
No, I was just going to say that, it's like, it's very interesting because the way we navigate and what, the stuff that we've been sort of, drilling down on here, but to understand that what happens is, in the information war, is bad information is highlighted, shown as undeniable, and everybody gloms onto it and the most popular thing, and good information is pushed down, ignored, and people pretend like that none of that is actually going on. So the war, if you will, is effectively, that you're speaking of, is on the truth. And so the people that end up speaking the truth are the people that garner the attention. And so, when you're talking about, not fighting with flesh and blood, like, the entities that are doing this understand that they aren't flesh and blood a lot better than we do.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And they absolutely understand our power, because that's the thing about, if you understand the biblical narrative, we are the beings that have the authority and the dominion over the planet. And and so it makes sense then that if you're a principality of power, that has power in an unseen part of this of our dimensions, right? Because we now understand through quantum science that there's multiple dimensions. And so if you're, some of these powers, then you're going to be looking to trick the people that actually have the authority within the dimension you're trying to infiltrate and get them to believe in a way that where we voluntarily hand our authority over to those powers. And one of the ways they do that is through lies and getting us to believe that those lies are actually the truth. And so that's my thoughts.
Well said. And a lie repeated often enough becomes truth, sadly. And then, the way that they've kind of trained us is to think with our emotions, right? Instead of actual logic and facts, which I think is amazing. And you made the deliberate choice in this movie to not hand the audience a verdict per se. So
Right.
in a culture where everyone's selling certainty and, why leave the biggest question open?
That's an excellent question. It's because the journey is always personal, right? It's like, and if I'm supposed to be trying to point you towards the guy that actually has the answers, the guy that actually has the truth, which is God, and encouraging you to have that relationship with him, I'm not going to try to give you some sort of definitive answer that comes from me. Then you can say, "Thus says Matthew Thayer." Like I don't want to be that kind of a person. Every single thing that I've ever worked on, every documentary that I've ever done, I've always been proud of the fact that I've always handed it back to the audience. Because I get irritated at documentaries who kind of try to come up with an answer, like you said. It's like it's like here's the solution to the problem, and it's like sometimes the solution of the problem is right here in between our ears, and if we don't squarely realize that we're a part of that problem, then you're not going to solve the problem, because you're just going to start pointing your fingers at a bunch of people. And again, that's part of the narrative that some of these entities will try to get us to believe, is that we're pointing fingers and everything else, rather than just pointing it squarely at ourselves and going like, what am I believing? What am I thinking? Because it's all about us as individuals learning to discern the truth and then collectively doing something about it.
I like that too, because this show right here, one of our sayings is the truth is learned, never told. The media always wants to say, here's what you need to know, and tells you what you need to know.
Right.
We actually would love you to start researching for yourself. If you have a question, don't believe me, don't believe Matthew, don't believe look it up for yourself, because that's the best way to actually learn information. The truth is learned, never told.
And I've always approached that. That's been my approach to storytelling. Is that and I'll bring my because these are my examples from my childhood, is growing up in the church. All right, it was always about getting people saved. And what I realized was that there's a lot of people that are concerned with picking fruit rather than planting seeds. Mm-hmm. And if you plant a seed, like if I make a film, right? And somebody, realizes something immediately, that's awesome. Wonderful. You know what I mean? I don't need to be there to see that happen. But what's amazing to me is when you actually plant a seed and that seed just kind of germinates in somebody's heart, then all of a sudden, it could be 3 years later, all of a sudden they wake up in the middle of the night and they're wrestling with something, and all of a sudden something that, they may not even recognize that what they're understanding at that point was generated by the inception of that seed that was placed in it by something that I had made. But that's the Holy Spirit's job. The Holy Spirit's job is to bring conviction and to bring understanding to the individual. We're just there to just sow seeds. And so it really is all about, again, the individual coming to their own conclusions, because it's like that movie Inception, right? It's like if the idea is forced into somebody's mind, it will never germinate. But if it's actually placed in a way where it becomes their own idea, then all of a sudden it's like it takes root.
Something you said a second ago too that connects to that I wanted to mention whenever you were talking about the scientific angles of being able to prove the quantum entanglement and a number of other things. But one thing that's very important that I'm noticing that people aren't picking up on, it's like what they've proven is that your observation of something changes its behavior,
yes.
The world around you. So like molecules behave differently when nobody's watching than they do when you're paying attention. That right there, to me, proves everything that we've been saying pretty much for a lot of us for our whole lifetimes, that you are part of all of it. And what it is that we are observing is there for you to observe. And the things that you're paying attention to are affected by your attention. And I think this is a big thing that, Charlie was saying or speaking up about whenever he was talking, was like, it's your job. So whenever I went back a long time ago and read about the Constitution and what the founding fathers were saying, what they were saying was that it's your job to keep up with the current events. It's your job to observe what your government is doing. If it is you, the people, going to be we, the people, governing ourselves, then it's up to every one of us to observe ourselves. And it's just very interesting when you bring that into the current conversation about, all the communism and the different things. What they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent you from observing anything. They don't want more speech. They want to shut down the camera. They want to shut down the conversation. They want to shut down they don't want to show you the pictures of the criminals on TV. They want to protect the criminals, and they want to harm the victim. So it's 100% an inversion that feels like a course correction is happening like around us.
And if I could just real quick interject there, there was a Substack article that I wrote recently, and Seth Keshel featured it. It was pretty cool, but it was kind of drilling down into this idea of authority and how authority is a big deal in heaven. Right. So like the story of Jesus and the centurion comes to him and says, hey, my servant's sick. And Jesus is like, oh, I'll come with you to your house. And he's like, oh, no. Because that was taboo. Like that was not a thing. Right. Jews and Gentiles, and you couldn't go into each other's houses and stuff like that. So culturally, there was a thing. And the Roman goes like, no, I'm a man under authority. I understand this. If I tell somebody to go and do this, they do this. And he understood the whole authority structure. And he's like, if you just say it's done. And Jesus equated that with faith. He's like, I've never seen such faith. And so authority is a big deal. And we, the people, is the first 3 words on that document. And what I understand, and what I've done a lot of research into the Revolutionary War and the revolutionary thinkers and all of that. And what they were struggling with was this breakaway from the divine right of kings, right? So it's like, is authority vested within the king and his lineage, or is authority invested in individuals? Well, we chose the latter. So when people are voting, when people are actually engaging in that process, like you said, of actually holding, people need to understand that their authority, and we the people, extends beyond voting, right? We have to understand that we hold these people to account. They are our employees. And so it just acting as if like we just vote and then whatever happens, and we don't actually hold these people to account as they do their jobs, is antithetical to the whole entire idea. Because it would be like saying that an employer's job ends at the employment process, and then once the employee comes in and he can just do whatever he wants. That's not how it works. We are supposed to be an engaged populace that understand that we have the authority. The authority comes directly from God, rests upon our shoulders, and then we bequeath that authority to the people that we hire to represent us.
Amen. Yeah. And, in the trailer that we had too, Charlie told you a word from a prophet, quote, should never be an excuse or inaction or apathy, but that he'd also had the gift to transform many, many lives. What was it like to hear a political figure talk carefully about something this contested?
Well, that's what I love about Charlie. You know what I mean? It's like he wasn't afraid to talk about those types of things. He wasn't afraid to give you his opinion on what he thought about stuff, and I love that. And so it was encouraging to me to have somebody like that, who is that, like, his entire life and public life was all about saying, hey guys, we're going in the wrong direction. This is not the direction that we should be going according to what God has for you. God has a better plan for you. It's not the direction we should supposed to be going according to the way that our founders founded our country and the moral underpinnings of our country. Like and if we were just to align ourselves back up with that, so many of the issues that we're facing today would be non-existent, because we would be a bunch of people who love God, love his ways, and understand that his ways are the ways of life, and all of a sudden, if you have a majority of your people living like that, where's the problems?
Right.
There's no, you know what I mean? They're very greatly diminished. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm sure it was very amazing meeting with him. And then
he's a great dude, and that's the thing that I want to just say to people is that my experience at Turning Point was nothing but positive. Like I was like every single person there was just all in. I worked with several of his employees in the whole setting up of that interview, and every single one of them were Christian and just like saying, they loved people and they were so kind and so great, and Charlie himself was just exemplary. You know what I mean? Like just a regular dude, and I'm really, 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 really bummed that I didn't get the chance to know him better. Because he was a gift.
Amen.
Well, I think that's why he was targeted. And at the end of the day, like the reason that Tyler was triggered by what Charlie said was because of what Charlie said. I mean, that's the point of this. The reason that he did what he did was because of words Charlie used. That's the impact whenever a mind is so convinced of the I say narrative, but the facade that is what it is that the left is perpetuating on us. This idea that you were talking about holding people to account. This idea of what they do is like whenever you go to hold them to account, they scream that you're being violent against them.
Yeah.
They say, you'll see these people, they get pulled over by the police and they act like, something's happening to them because they've broken a rule and they're being held to account for it. All of a sudden, those consequences are the violence to them. And then the media agrees with that. That's the weird inversion that we're going through right now. And I think this has a lot to do with, the last 20 or 30 years of media cycles, our generation not paying enough attention. Now I think that people are a lot more awake. And unfortunately, Charlie had to, the fact that they took him out or did what they did to him is what's going to elevate his message to a level that I believe is going to kind of undergird the future Christian movement in this country.
Agreed, and I think that's one of the conclusions that I came to, like you said, that Charlie said a word from a prophet should never be an excuse for inaction or apathy, right? And that's part of the problem that we've kind of unfortunately, again, information, right? If the enemy can cloud your judgment and your understanding of what a prophet is, and a prophet is just somebody that's like telling the future and it's like fateful and it's just like, well, it's just going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, then all of a sudden now you're just kind of like, well, I'm just going to sit on the couch and let it happen. It's like, no. The prophet is pointing a direction, and the direction, it requires action. It requires you to get off of your butt and to actually do something about it and to affect change. And that's what Charlie did. And that's what he was encouraging people to do.
Yeah, I also wanted to interject this too. I don't know if you've researched stochastic terrorism. They're all saying that Charlie is a fascist, Charlie is a Nazi, Charlie is this, that.
Oh, yeah.
And in a diseased mind or a sick mind, they're going to be like, oh, well, he can't be here. So what are they going to do? They create lone wolf killers, right? Without any clawback as to who actually could be behind it, right? Like, it's the media using stochastic terrorism to paint somebody a villain so a lone wolf can act on that. And
I would also encourage people, I don't like using sides, because again, we're not battling against flesh and blood, but there are people that believe, one way versus another way. And the people that even on our side who want a better country and everything else, the people that have just jumped on the bandwagon of like trashing TPUSA and trashing Charlie and trashing Erica and all of this sort of stuff, it really grieves me, because what you don't realize is that you're being propagated yourself. The enemy that is trying to get you to do what he wants you to do knows your brain and knows how to affect you psychologically better than you do. And I love the fact that people are waking up, but I realized this back kind of when we met. I kind of saw it as this. there was a moment in my life where we were living with my grandparents for about a month because we had sold our house and we were moving, and just kind of that in between time before you could take custody of the property. And my mom, this is the house she grew up in, right? So like 3:00 in the morning, she's just going out to get a drink of water. And all of a sudden in the dark, she bumps into a chair that's not supposed to be there. And she goes, "What is this?" And she turns on the light, and somebody had robbed the house. And they had gone through my grandparents' living, like while my grandparents were sleeping, like stealing stuff from their bedside table and everything else. So it's just very disconcerting feeling, right? And I feel like that's what happened to a lot of people that are now paying attention, is that they've woken up and realized that our house has been robbed, right? Well, that's a very traumatic thing. The enemy knows how to use your trauma in a way that subverts your ability to discern the truth, even in the process of just trying to discern the truth. And so it's like when you have that kind of trauma, all of a sudden you could be sitting there watching Netflix one night and all of a sudden have a scratch at the window, and it's just the storm and it's just a branch, but you have this trauma response. That's the thing. It's like a battered wife syndrome. And that's the thing that a lot of people in the truth movement are suffering from right now, is that, well, if they're lying to me and everything is a lie, then everything's a lie. Yes. And it's like, that's not the truth. There are things that are not lies, and there are things that are lies. And you have to become better at discerning that. You can't just go from one extreme to the other extreme and say that you're a truth teller.
I love that. That was a very eloquently said. Perfect. Wow.
That was actually so good, and it connected directly to what Jeff was just saying there about the lone wolf. So look at this dynamic. Lone wolf, that is created due to hearsay, rhetoric, craziness. And then after the situation, what are they all saying? There's no way it could have been a lone wolf. There's no way it could have been the single guy. This dude's a patsy. And then I'm explaining to people over and over again, and try to say they don't hear you. A patsy is a person who proclaims that they didn't do it. And then the guy's like, "Oh, Oswald said that." Yeah, no. Oswald said he didn't do it. Oswald said that the picture was a fake. He proclaimed his innocence. That's what a patsy would do.
Right.
And so these guys, they completely ignore admission of guilt, DNA evidence, video evidence, and then they nitpick down to this tiny little piece. So it confuses these people, because in your mind, you do sort of think, like you're saying, well, how could just one guy do it? Right. The reason is because Charlie offered himself to people. He wasn't afraid. He didn't walk with fear. And it doesn't really matter how it turned out. What matters is the man sitting there saying the things that he was saying was doing it with zero fear in his heart and with 100% love and compassion for the person that he was talking to. And that right there sets the precedent for what we can rest the whole situation on. But they want to change it. They want to make it about who took him out, not about what they took him out for.
Right. And you need to, and that's the thing that would just encourage people to learn how to think better. Right. And again, it's just because, but we've been propagandized to believe black, white, right, left. Like, it's just like, it's one dichotomy or the other. And if everything is a lie, then everything is a lie. And so, but it's not. And you have to recognize that the enemy knows how to use your pursuit of truth just as much as he knows how to get your apathy, to use your apathy, right? He knows how to do that. And you have to become a better sovereign individual that's able to take in the information and parse it out. That's why, going back to what you were saying before, why did I just kind of leave the question on the table? It's because I'm encouraging people to step forward into that divine right that we have to pursue truth individually.
So this interview that you had with Charlie Kirk, in the trailer, when we set the stage with the trailer, in there it said 2 weeks to the minute before he was killed. Like, when did you realize? I mean, I was on the phone, like I called Shady up and we were just wrecked.
Couldn't believe it.
Crying. Yeah. I yelled loud because I just was so like, what the heck did they just
Very
do?
Similar to whenever the thing happened to Butler.
Yeah. So what did you realize, what you were holding there with an interview 2 weeks to the minute? And that's interesting. And then did that change anything in the film? And how did that change anything?
Oh, yeah.
In the film?
Yeah. No, it was kind of like it. I mean, almost instantaneously it dawns on you, like you're like going like, I have something on a hard
Because you
drive.
started this project before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Started the project before, and the trajectory of the film. It's interesting because I was looking at a pitch deck that we put out back almost a year and a half ago, and we actually, God kind of took us through all of that to create something that was very similar to what we had set out to make, but all of a sudden it was like, yeah, you're looking at this going like, wow, like. I actually had to inject myself into the film. I'd never done that before. I've never narrated my own films because I don't want to be that guy that's like, just telling you what to think. And, it just always feels kind of self-serving, and I just don't like that, but I tried to approach it very trepidatiously but I realized that some of the questions that I was asking the people that I was interviewing didn't really have the answers for. So I needed somebody in the film that was asking those questions and kind of leading us down that path that I really felt like I was supposed to go on. But what you're seeing is probably the 7th edit and, of our attempt to make something work. And so it took a long process, to try and figure out, but we kind of realized immediately after Charlie's death, like, well, wow, this is important. Like this is this kind of thing. God speaks to people in different ways. And one of the ways that God speaks to me is to kind of show us those kind of coincidences where it's just like, whoa, okay, I need to go through this prayerfully. I need to seek his guidance. How am I supposed to write this? How am I supposed to edit this? So yeah, we definitely, it was, like I said, it was one of the most difficult projects that we've ever done because of that, because we were like going, okay, we don't want to handle this incorrectly. You know what I mean? We want to present this in its purest form as we possibly can so that it has the maximum amount of impact because we believe the message is so important.
That's amazing.
And interestingly enough, that the focus is on all of this other stuff. They've tried to build this whole world around like what he was actually doing right before all of this stuff happened, and almost none of it, guys, is true. Okay, they've made up all of these different things where they're talking about some of his colleagues at TPUSA, whether they're talking about Erica Kirk, they're acting like there's cohorts within the U.S. military or Bibi Netanyahu, all this nonsense with Israel and Charlie, like all of that, guys. I want you to know it's been perpetuated in the last year is fake. There's no evidence to it, none whatsoever. And X mainly is the biggest culprit. Is completely filled with people that are Johnny come lately wannabes or something, because they're all perpetuating this nonsense. Whenever in 10 seconds, you can look at the information like Jeff was saying, and you can see that it isn't true. So the message of Charlie Kirk coming through from your perspective, well, I think this is the reason I think this is an amazing thing is because maybe this sets the record straight a little bit for some of the people out there that have glommed on to Podcastistan and this mindset that, like, oh, well, the TPUSA is now weak. Let's go after them. When in all reality, TPUSA is not weak. TPUSA is stronger than it's ever been. It has like gained unbelievable support around the country. And the more people that recognize that they've been lied to, each time someone recognizes that they've been lied to about maybe Trump or MAGA is also in that same moment realizing they were lied to about Charlie and what TPUSA is. Well,
and again, going back to, the aftermath of his death, and we did touch on that a little bit in the film. And I was really proud of the way that because we didn't want to re-traumatize anybody, you know what I mean? Right. But we wanted to address what happened. And the way that it came out is just, it really is beautiful. My team and I worked really hard to achieve something that I feel like will be touching and emotionally satisfying as a film, but then also like thought provoking. Is just look at all of the TikTok videos and all the Instagram videos of all of the people saying like, man, I'm all of a sudden I'm like drawn to my husband's Bible. I don't even know anything about Jesus. I want to go to church, like all this stuff that's happening. Those are all, to me, visual indicators and fruit of something happening and stirring spiritually within people. And Charlie was unfortunately a seed that fell to the ground. But look at what happened and all of the fruit that's starting to come out of that. And again, going back to what you were saying, the enemy would love nothing more than to throw up chaff, to distract, to get people to not see that fruit. And that fruit is real, and my hope is that the people who were impacted by that, that posted those things on TikTok, that posted those things on Instagram, would find this film, because Charlie is in it. But at the end of the day, they would walk away going, wow, I think God was actually talking to me in those moments, right? God was actually talking to me when I was posting those videos, when I was searching, when all of a sudden I'm like, he's pointing out that's how God talks, to us. That's how he reaches out into this dimension. And, and so that's really my hope and desire, is that, that the people that were the fruit of that atrocious event would find this and realize that they're actually on the right path.
Yeah, amazing.
I think that's happening. I think a lot of that's happening, actually.
Let's go ahead and roll the Can You Hear Me Now official teaser. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, because we've showed you the trailer. This is the official teaser right here on the MG Show with Matthew Thayer. Can you hear me now?
Thank you so much for being here today, sir.
I do believe that those gifts are active. I'm not in a position to speak openly about that as much as theologians. I will say this, it can be abused, it's very real, but I've seen it work. Not only work, I've seen it transform lives, and some people absolutely have the gift of prophecy.
The reason we need prophets is because we need God to reveal his heart. And God has always chosen, whenever he wants to say something, he looks for a human vessel.
We saw depression go up, anxiety go up, we saw crime go up.
The problem is we're looking for the government to tackle moral issues.
The problem with being deceived is you're deceived and you don't know it.
Christ called us to be salt and light. We as Christians should change the environment that we come in contact with.
People will often come to me and say, well, as a pastor, you really should not be involved.
The first question is, why should Christians be involved in anything?
A nation who acknowledges God is going to be blessed. Well, you can't be blessed if you're the church, if you're to eliminate yourself from it.
Whether it be Nehemiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, Moses, Aaron, they all thought deeply about how to either influence secular government for God's purposes or form a government for God's purposes.
Everybody will look around and wonder, is anybody going to stand up? When you hear his voice in the mouths of his messengers, it tunes people into knowing what he sounds like. We are going to see the value of hearing his voice for every area of life and society.
Can you hear me now? Tune in 9/10/2026. Spiro Pictures. Director Matthew Thayer. Wow. Can you hear me now? Film.com. It'll be on Salem Network, guys. It's officially going to be released on Salem Network, and we're really looking forward to seeing that on the anniversary of Charlie Kirk on 9/10/2026. What a great story. I'm really looking forward to seeing the entire documentary. The teasers that you put out are absolutely amazing, and I'm really happy about you getting a chance to do this documentary.
I think that the way that this worked out with it being you to tell the story is pretty amazing, man. I mean, I'm just going to say that it's I'm standing here, I kind of like seeing a little bit of a different angle. I mean, I understood that you were coming and that you were working on this project or something, but I really do. We had a connection before in the work that you're doing because it's genuine. Yeah. It's not like you're not like puffing up your own ego. You're not like out there trying to sell somebody some sort of a narrative that they need to go out and repeat. You're trying to show people what you see from your perspective, and it's very clear and it comes through very well. And highly appreciated, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I really appreciate those words, and that's always been my heart. Is that it's never about me; it's about him, this guy up here, and anything that I can do to spread the message of his goodness across the world. That's what I'm about. So, yeah. But on 9/10/26, it's going to be on Salem now. You can go to CanYouHearMeNowFilm.com. to sign up for email newsletters. Pre-orders are going to be available here very soon, in the next couple of weeks. And then after that, it's going to be available on Amazon Prime. It's going to be available on Google in October. So the window of opportunity that Salem has is about 4 weeks. But they've been a wonderful partner. I really encourage you to go to canyouhearmenowfilm.com. Check it out, sign up for the newsletters, and be a part of sharing the trailers, sharing the show. Like, get the message out there, because this is the kind of, in a world full of darkness, the God of light is trying to communicate and trying to speak to us and show us the path forward, and his path is pretty awesome.
Dark to light. Amen to that, Matthew Thayer. Do you have any other ways that people want? Do you have a Substack? You want to give out your Substack for everybody, or Twitter, or anything else like that?
I'm not on social media. I do post articles on Substack, and you can go to Matt Spiro Pictures. You can see it right there.
Matt Spiro Pictures.
Spiro Pictures, Spero Pictures, Matt Spiro Pictures. So on Substack, I post some thoughts there and things like that, and some articles. But that's the only place that people can usually find me. So, but
excellent. I think you did a great job today. I'm very appreciative to know you as well. Let's talk real soon. Maybe bring you back again as we ramp up for the release of the trailer. If anything new happens, I hope we did you proud on this interview, my friend.
Oh, dude. This was an amazing interview. I love having an interview with you guys. You guys have great questions, and it just feels like old friends having a conversation around a fire with a bourbon and a cigar. It's amazing.
I like my old fashions, I tell you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But yeah, no. There's another film we should have a conversation about that I think is appropriate, considering the Oxford comma and stuff like that. We didn't actually go into those kinds of things, but I don't know if you guys have actually seen The Enemy Within yet, but we should have a conversation about that, because it kind of goes into the Russian collusion stuff.
Gotcha. And I did see that as well. I think it's now on Amazon Prime, that one as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Matthew. We really appreciate you.
So
thank
great.
you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Wow. To the minute, Shady. Like 2 weeks to the minute.
Well, you can see, it's just very interesting how you can see, the way things are supposed to work. Things are supposed to work out in a certain way, and all of these people throw all of this stuff at you and try to make you confused and insane. They really want us to live in this world of the absurd. That's the only way that I can frame it. And what Charlie was doing was he was for whatever reason, all of these people have decided that they're doing what they're doing, and they're doing what they're doing. There's going to be a day that comes where they're going to have to answer for what they've done. It's like, it's not my job. It's not my job to judge the liar. It's just my job to point it out. And that right there is what we've been seeing for a whole year now. Candace has been going at this nonsense.
And we've said the same thing too. Like, remember in the video, he says, let me see. I want to try to find it real quick, because I just closed it, but Charlie said issues of prophetic. I wanted to see, there was a quote here by Charlie saying inaction, right? The inaction, to make you reluctant or not do anything. But we say the same thing. You've still got to throw the stones. Just because, you've got to act is basically it. We're watching a movie. That means that we don't have to do anything. No, it means that we still have to throw the stones, Shady. We still have to out the lies and separate the wheat from the chaff.
And when you say throw the stones, it sounds to me like you mean words. It sounds like to me you mean use the free speech that the good Lord gave you. He put you here and he gave you free speech. He didn't mean it was free, put it in your pocket and take it home. He meant it was free, proclaim what it is you know to be true to people that lie like Persian rugs.
Persian rugs. I went to a Persian rug thing and they feed you this tea, and I was tripping. And I wanted to buy all the rugs that they showed me, Shady.
But they were all lying, weren't they?
They were all lying, yeah. We'll ship them to your house. Any price. You name a price, we ship to your house. I was like, oh, yeah, right. That tea is really good.
That's potent. That's got me writing checks over here.
By the way, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Shady, we're on Justice Cometh's show.
I heard something about that.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
They're not liking it very much.
That might open up a can of worms.
Oh, boy. A can of whoop asses, but we'll be opening up.
Oh, there you go.
Real quick, before we head out to break, we got a couple minutes. I wanted to just thank Eddie Mike. He's in the chat right now.
I need to call Eddie Mike.
Right? No, he doesn't like you. He only
Is that why he won't talk to me?
He only likes Jeff. Yeah.
I've noticed that there's this whole thing going on between you two.
Yes. So you want to get the app.mg.show. Okay. Obviously, it tells you that we're here.
I have the app.
Live. You have the app. Okay.
Yes.
You got all this. You got the two social links. Oh, look at this shitty.
What's that?
MG Radio.
That is not 24/7 MG music playing on the radio. Why are you just like making stuff?
Let me just start the stream, Shady. Ruh-roh. Huh? Yeah. MG Radio streaming 24/7. All right. So if you have a song, you can submit a song. Obviously, it allows us to play it. You know, it says, do you give the MG show, whatever, because we don't want to steal anything. Okay. So you can submit a song right here. All you have to do is artist or creator, song title, your email. What tools did you use? Suno, whatever. And then you can either upload the file or the Suno song link. And then any notes that you want to do and say, I own or control submitted recording and grant MG Show permission to review and stream it, guys. There are going to be some rules, right? We need to make sure we don't got, any swear words. We don't want overly swear words. Mike, he knows what I'm talking about, but he writes a great song.
So why are you digging on your counselor?
I love him. There's Tracing Justice right there in the channel. Hit that Tracing Justice right here. Right, let me get it too, because we got to get that. Hit that right there. Go to Tracing Justice right here and hit a follow. We're already following him, Shady. And look at this. MG Show. Look at this. Ooh, 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Ruh-roh, Scooby.
Ruh-roh, Scooby. He also does some really good things about fellowship as well, guys. You might want to check him out. We've actually had comms. They're beautiful. Josh and Tracy are beautiful people. And, he went through it just like we did, protecting Flynn, thinking he was good, attacking people that started outing Flynn, which was us at one time. We were protecting Flynn, then we outed Flynn, and then so he came through his cycle of his great awakening on this particular subject on his own. The truth is learned, never told. And now here we are forming I don't want to say an alliance, but just being friendship. Shady Groove.
Yep.
Just being friends. And they're great people, by the way. And this is not easy. It's not easy going against this Flynn network. You saw that I had Sawman, right? We'll talk about that later. Yeti, let's go to some beautiful boom footages. Commercials.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's a 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spill Tea, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20% and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, it's Jeffrey Pedersen and Shannon Townsend with the MG Show. We are under relentless attack by the mainstream media. They've got our PayPal, our Patreon, our YouTube, our everything, you name it. We are under attack. We need your help.
Our request is for you to get involved and support independent patriot journalism here in this critical battle that we are in for America. Please jump on over and support us right here on Give, Send, Go.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
The MG Show, where psyops go to die.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's true. You heard correctly. This summer, the Q Lounge Live returns to the airwaves every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Hello, I'm your host, Shannon Townsend, a.k.a. Shady Groove, and we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be taking your calls. We are going to be following your wonderful president. We are going to be standing in the gap. We are going to go places where the conspiracy theorists tell you that you're not allowed to go. We are going to uncover the truth and follow along as Donald Trump has his way with all of these people that he stood up a long time ago and told us that he was going to. Well, it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's happening every single day, and we're going to keep you updated with a weekly show. Get ready, get your friends, show up. That's right, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Join me there right here on the MG Show channel on Rumble. God bless you and God bless America.
They call it stochastic, remote control rage. MSM pumps the poison, turns the weak into slaves. Years of Hitler, Trump, threat to democracy. Pedophile, rapist, traded the daily fantasy. From my timeline, I wanted straight facts, no cap. Mass comes plus demonization equals a predictable attack. Blowback's a bitch when the lies come home to roost. Now their own dinner party's the scene of the coup. Stochastic terrorism, blood on the fake news hands. False narratives firing from CNN's command. They radicalize the unstable, then act all surprised. But we see the shooters, we know who supplied the lies. Trump stands tall, fist raised, bullet couldn't stop the man. MAGA's unbreakable, drain the swamp, that's the plan. America first forever, legacy media's done. Your stochastic terror just made us stronger. Sons of guns. Thomas Matthew Kirk, Butler, July 2024. Rifle in hand, grace the year of the man we adore. Registered Republican Act, blue cash in his name. Bought the threat to democracy, played the deadly game. Ryan Wesley Root, golf course, September 2024. Rifle ready, Mar-a-Lago, hatred, war. Anti-Trump pose, Ukraine fixation for left-wing fever. Believed every Russia hoax, every pedo believer. Cole Thomas Allen Lee, SED, April 2020. Sees him donor, Kamala Cash, teacher from Torrance, California. Brew, shotgun, handgun, knives. Manifesto crystal clear, pedophile, rapist, traitor, the exact fears we hear. Friendly federal assassin targeting Trump's whole team. From highest to lowest, straight from the CNN dream. Signed off ready to slaughter staff just to get through. Radicalized in the echo chamber, exactly as I told you. Obama says we don't know motive. Gaslighting king, manifesto screams the lies as media machine brings. SPLC hate machine pays to stir the pot. Jim Jordan drops the truth, third attempt connect the dots. Parkland drills false flags, they've run this script before. But Trump's still standing, fighting for the Republic's core. No more hiding behind stochastic, call it what it is. Domestic terror by legacy liars, pure political beat. Stochastic terrorism, blood on the fake news hands. False narratives firing from CNN's command. They radicalize the unstable, then act all surprised. But we name the shooters, we know who supplied the lies. Trump 2028, unbreakable fist in the air. MAGA's winning, exposing the real domestic scare. Drain the swamp, silence the liar, sovereignty restored. Make America
again, we're always wrong until we're right, but it's not Tuesday, so we're not going to do a 2 for Tuesday. Welcome back, Shady Groove, to our number 2.
I was caught up listening to MG radio out there.
Wow. Isn't that awesome?
Well, there's no telling what we could do with that. I mean, we could maybe have MG Network, MG Channel, MG Universe. What's going on out there?
Let's do this in the mate tricks for dating site.
Now we're getting into like Flynn camp there. Like, for them in the Matrix.
Yeah. So also thinking about possibilities in the future. This could be a video channel playing shows 24/7 as well. Not this one, but we're going to keep music and videos separate. But I think, Eddie, if you're listening, we need a couple commercials in there as well every now and again. Like bumpers, like
little Matrix and Shady bumpers that can bump into the next song, like this little in between where Jeff comes in with some ridiculous comment about tentacles.
Tentacles.
No.
No.
I love that we have the no button back. What did it take us, like 4 years to get a battery in that stupid thing?
Yeah. You had to get a screwdriver.
That's like a third part. That's like a third host on the show. The no button.
It's actually my on button! Exclamation!
It is an on button. That is true. It's on. We're an on ramp for all the idiots in the deep state.
I tell you. All right, so we got some major declass today, Shady.
This is good stuff.
There's a narrative going out saying Flynn was exonerated, and I'd like to show you this, okay? Because this is what the Flynn Network does. Whether they know it or not, they spin crap, okay? It's all a good post right here. This is Ella Nichelle, right? News Blast. He said right here, cleared Michael Flynn of collusion. Okay? This has nothing to do with Michael Flynn, okay? Because the truth of the matter is...
He needs clicks.
These documents didn't clear General Flynn, okay? They just confirmed the deep state FBI had already closed the collusion case on him in January of 2017 with no derogatory information. So the deep state FBI, oh yeah, General Flynn, you're fine. No derogatory
information. The rubber bullet ones.
Yeah. And then months later, treated Trump like a possible Russian asset for firing Comey, guys.
After they had a meeting with Flynn and projected that he was somehow connected to Russia because Flynn was talking to Kislyak. Well, what Flynn was doing with Kislyak was not telling Donald Trump that Kislyak had called for over a week, and they recorded the call, and then they had a conversation with Flynn about it, and then all of a sudden, Russia, and they opened a case claiming that Donald Trump was a Russian asset for firing Comey. Okay. Wow. Like,
and in fact, let's just say General Flynn got paid by Russia TV. That is a Russian asset in its purest form.
It's almost like all his little minions ran off to Russia. Snowden ran to Russia. Candace ran to Russia. I mean, I don't know.
$50,000 makes you an asset to Russia.
That's a pretty good chunk.
All right, so this is called Oxford, Oxferd, comma.
Pay attention, guys.
FARA Acts Registration Act, sensitive, okay? They're saying at the assistant director of the FBI Counterintelligence Division, following consultation with the Office of the General Counsel, the FBI is opening a full investigation based on articulable, factual basis that reasonably indicates that President Donald J. Trump may be or has been wittingly or unwittingly involved in activities on behalf of the government of Russia Federation, which may constitute violation of federal law. Now, you know what's interesting? This was 5/16/2017, but on 11/2/2017, James Comey said, check the actual cover about higher loyalty, Shady.
Yeah.
I'm all about Oxford commas. Misspellings matter. Ox, F-E-R-D, and Ox, F-O-R-D. This guy actually had the balls to tweet it out, guys.
He tweeted it out.
Wow. Oh, and just so you know, here's his actual post right here. I mean, this is James Comey. Lordy, I hope there are pictures. Scoop, Jim Comey's book is titled A Higher Loyalty.
From the same account that brought you 8647 in Seychelles.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting, isn't it?
Huh. So the investigation that the FBI named it when Comey was the FBI director was called Oxford comma, Oxferd. The actual way to spell Oxford is Oxford. Q is said multiple times. Misspellings matter. And I believe this is what Q is posting about.
And it's also,
Oxford, comma.
That's 100% right. And it was also about the way that they were hiding. Remember Comey and the way that they were hiding references in the report. What's his name's report about Comey calling it? They wrote it was typed in as corny. Biden was typed in as Bikelen, Clen. These are the different things that Q is referencing. All this relevant to the FBI and the way that they were manipulating their ability to run investigations, quote unquote, calling them counterintelligence investigations predicated on authority granted to them, they feel like, from the Patriot Act.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the Oxford, comma, right here. I got the documents here. Here they are right here. And they're names that we know. Thank you, Baker. James Baker. Bill Priestap. Thank you, Bill Priestap. Have we heard of any of these names, guys?
Every one of them are on the list, bro.
So this is like a Q proof, isn't it?
Most of them are in the spy op post specifically.
Oxford, comma, okay. Case ID number, okay. To open and assign caption matter. We read that part to you as well. This is the criminal law or threats to the national security of the United States. They use that as the excuse. The goal of the investigation is to determine if President Trump is or was directed by, controlled by, and or coordinated activities with the Russian Federation in a manner constituting a threat to the national security of the United States and or the violation of a federal criminal statutes. In addition, this investigation will also seek to determine whether President Trump and others yet to be named obstructed and or conspired to obstruct any associated FBI investigation.
So look at that. So that they mock up a fake investigation and then they go after anybody that's like trying to resist their stupid fake investigation and say it's obstruction.
The FBI opened this investigation on the predetermined criteria set forth by Crossfire Hurricane. Okay. Flynn is Crossfire Hurricane. Investigative team based on assessment of reliable lead information received during the course of the investigation. In May of 2016, a named member from the Trump campaign team indicated that he was knowledgeable that the Russians made a suggestion to the Trump team that the Russians, could assist the Trump campaign with an anonymous release of information during the campaign damaging to the Clinton campaign. According to U.S. intelligence, USIC, the U.S. intelligence community, information, Russian intelligence gained access to Democrat National Committee networks as early as July 15 and maintained access through June 2016. Circa March 2016, Russian intelligence also gained email access to the senior Democrat Party officials and political figures. The USIC assesses that with high confidence, beginning in June 2016, Russian intelligence services used DCLeaks.com and WikiLeaks to publicly release the material obtained through the aforementioned cyber operations. According to multiple open source reports, the Trump campaign intervened during the course of the GOP platform committee discussion on the Ukraine in the run-up to the 18 to 22 July 2016 Republican National Convention in Cleveland. Allegedly, through this intervention, the Trump campaign members were able to amend the GOP platform language on U.S. support for Ukraine away from the provision of lethal defensive weapons to a more anodyne call for appropriate assistance. The FBI assesses this platform change would be favorable to Russian interests following their annexation of Crimea. Immediately after the RNC, Trump and his then campaign manager, Paul Manafort, publicly denied any involvement in softening the language on Ukraine. However, following the 2016 presidential election, the inauguration, Trump's foreign policy advisor during that campaign, Jeff Gordon, told CNN that he pushed the platform to change to align with Trump's views. Gordon said he advocated for the GOP platform to include language against arming Ukrainians, against pro-Russian rebels as it was, and in line with Trump's views expressed in March 2016 national security meeting for the campaign at the unfinished Trump Hotel. Gordon's post-inauguration comments to CNN are supported through FBI investigation. According to FBI information, Gordon advised members of the Trump campaign foreign policy team on 14 July 2016 that the campaign had defeated red line amendments like providing lethal assistance to Ukraine. Open source information. Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, it's interesting. Would you go back right there? What was the date that you just read right now?
14 July 2016.
July. Yeah. So Seth Rich was killed on July 10.
Yeah.
July 10 was the day that Seth Rich was killed at 4 a.m. in the morning with a $2,000 watch on his arm and his cash in his pocket.
And Russia had access to the DNC up here, right?
It was around, it was like right around this. Yeah.
Through June 2016, they ended it.
Mm-hmm. So this would have been like less than a month after that this happened with Rich. And remember, like some of the early stuff with Q was explaining how they're able to mimic or make it look like these things, these intelligence downloads were from Russia, but it was proven that the time frame for the download to go to Russia didn't work. There was no way they could have gotten that information in a download. It was definitely leaked, and the leaker was Seth Rich.
So Miss Seabear says, I wonder how Q found those misspellings. Well, if Q and President Trump is Q plus, do you think Q and Q plus would know that there was a misspelling?
The reason, I think that the reason that they published it to us is so that we would understand it for whenever the time came to understand it. Yep. Because simply, you could, the way that they would have gotten it would have been somebody read it. Like somebody, so if somebody read the report, you could clearly see on the internet, it's hard to see the difference between Corny and Comey. But if you're reading the documents, you can clearly see that it's an R. And then you start to look, if you see one instance of it spelled Corny, then you can go look and spell Corny and see that it's been spelled like that 1,000 times. It was an unbelievable amount of times that was misspelled in those reports. And if I'm not mistaken, it was 2 reports that it was misspelled in, but I might be remembering.
I also want to, so I'm bringing that misspellings matter to Oxford, F-E-R-D, to Oxford as well. Which is interesting. Oxford, comma.
Yes, 100%. And that right there is evidence of a pattern of behavior. We're showing you a pattern of how these guys operate. I would suggest that go back 10 years, 15, 20 years, go back to investigations into the mob, all these different other things, these types of things that they're doing to hide stuff from government. Like that's a really good way, like in a report, if somebody's doing a report for government about corruption or stuff in government, that's a great way to hide your name from somebody being able to investigate it.
That's right. And right here it says the Oxford comma, the FBI does this on purpose a lot.
Yes.
They misspell code names. Okay. Approved by James Baker. So it was approved by Baker, Priestap, notified Andrew McCabe, and Rod Rosenstein. Do we know any of those people, Shady?
Yes, we do. They were very instrumental in trying to take down President Trump.
Yeah, interesting, huh? Spy Up post that I got on CNN. I'm sure that's a bad thing that I got that up there, huh?
Yeah, you went on CNN to let them smear Q by you making rational sense about how Q was explaining to them how they were the deep state.
That's interesting. Oh, and by the way, Kashyap Patel, name to remember, that post that I made. Kashyap Patel, the actual acting director of the FBI, liked that comment. Kashyap Patel, the acting FBI director, through his acting FBI director or his FBI director account, liked our show yesterday too, Shady.
On Shady's comment.
On Shady's post.
On Shady's post about the show. So Shady's post yesterday, I'm speaking in the third person because I really like to do that. Yesterday, right at almost at the same, just a little bit after we found out, we saw that he liked Jeff's post, and then it was like, boom, he liked the post posted by us of the show yesterday, where we gave you an unbelievable insight that a lot of the people that you that are out there acting like they're anons never paid attention to. They don't have any interest whatsoever in knowing how the FBI is currently functioning better. It's almost like they want to run a narrative that no arrests are happening or nothing is happening and everything is all lost and blackpilling and doing all this communism to distract us from the America First real golden age that we're going into.
So I'd like to also just make sure that, you know, what you're talking about, there's an anon out there saying that I was a shill for CNN and made us look bad. But what people don't realize is that in the interview, I said Kashyap Patel, name to remember. And here's the FBI director liking that post. Okay. In CNN, Kashyap Patel, name to remember. Okay. And who liked my post, Shady? Look at that.
Yeah. Isn't it an interesting dynamic that
Pretty big boom.
We're the clowns and the thieves and the robber barons by night out here, Jeff.
Crazy, isn't it?
It really is, man. I mean, I'm glad they got so many people on the wall to warn people about what it is.
And I'm glad Rumble featured us too.
That didn't happen, sir.
No, it didn't.
No, don't get too ahead of yourself. Yeah, because they haven't, that hasn't played anywhere else on Rumble. You know, Rumble wouldn't want that from one of their premium podcast flagship shows.
I mean, just it doesn't look like we were featured.
I could have told you that without you having to go look.
Well,
I know, but it's good. It's good for theatrics. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, it really is.
Exactly.
All right,
you got to do something. You got to make it look like you're working here.
I know, right? All right, so let's go back to this too, because this is the first document. We're on page 4 of 6. As a part of this investigation, the FBI also seeking to determine whether President Trump and others yet to be named obstructed and or conspired to obstruct any associated FBI investigation. An effort to impede the FBI's investigation into Russian efforts to influence the 2016 presidential election could have a negative impact on the United States' ability to fully understand our foreign adversary, protect the national security, and on the FBI's ability to enforce the criminal law. Starting on January 28th, 2017, and continuing through at least April of 2017, President Trump had multiple conversations during one-on-one personal meetings and telephone calls with former FBI Director James Comey, in which he repeatedly, A, sought Comey's personal loyalty, B, asked Comey to publicize the fact that the president was not the subject of an FBI investigation, and C, asked Comey to do what he could do to resolve the investigation and lift what President Trump viewed as a cloud over his presidency. In addition, President Trump expressed his hope that Comey not further pursue the investigation of former U.S. National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
Well, that sounds a little bit different than they're trying to make it sound like it says.
Interesting.
I just love the way that they rush out there to spin this stuff whenever it really would. That's the things that they write about it. Almost, it's like they don't have any idea what any of it actually says. They just have an idea of what they need to say. And so they say that before they ever read anything.
Yeah. They just, Flynn's in there. He's exonerated.
He's exonerated. Okay. Well, that's not really what it says, but.
The rationale provided by President Trump for the May 9th, 2027 termination of Comey has changed over time. President Trump on May 9th, 2017, letter to Comey stated that he was being terminated at the recommendation of the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General of the United States. A White House press release issued the same evening repeated that President Trump acted based on the clear recommendations of both Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and Acting Attorney General Jeff Sessions. On the evening of May 9th, 2017, White House spokesman further added the termination had nothing to do with Russia. In a televised interview on 11 May 2017, the rationale changed when President Trump stated that President Trump, made the decision well prior to the recommendation of the Department of Justice that I was going to fire regardless of the recommendation. And in fact, when I decided to just do it, I said to myself, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. It's an excuse by the Democrats for having lost an election, and they should have won. They thought you would never lose. This alternative explanation can be reasonably read to imply that the FBI's counterintelligence investigation was a factor in President Trump's decisions to terminate Comey. As the captioned subject was the candidate of a domestic political campaign and is currently serving in the national political office, the FBI categorized this investigation as sensitive. Investigative matter, SIM, a sensitive investigative matter, and considered the factors set forth in this, look at this, 10.1.3, diagram 10.1.3, based on the facts and circumstances provided to the date. The FBI believes that opening this investigation is the least intrusive method to address the serious national security risk posed by the activities alleged. Okay, and that's page 6. All right, so then you've got the FBI informs DOJ, Shady Groove. Okay, this is the first page right here. We already kind of went over this. This is declassified by the FBI. Apparently, this is supposed to be declassified on 2024. apparently it was set to declassify, but here we are today. Or excuse me, 2042. 2042, Shady.
Wait a minute. 2042. That seems a little excessive.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we've got a guy in there that doesn't think that the American people should be kept away from the information for another 25 years.
That's right. So there's that right here. Andrew McCabe notified, right? We just talked about
years.
that. And Rod
Whatever it was.
Rosenstein. It's a long time, Shady.
I did bad math there. I said 25. I think it's 50.
The math ain't mathing.
My math wasn't math in there.
All right. So this is the closing communication on the case. Okay. So we showed you the opening, the informs the DOJ, and now we're at the closing comments here. Okay. The closing communication, it's called. And this is approved by David Archie. Oxford, misspellings matter. Okay. To close caption investigation. And this was on 4/8/2019. Okay. So then you got this prediction, predication of investigation on or about 7/31/2016. The FBI opened a full investigation, Crossfire Hurricane, based on informant provided by Leggett London. Shady, we got a name here that might have
skipped us.
Yeah. To determine whether individuals associated with the Trump campaign were writing of or coordinating activities with the Russian government. This Leggett London thing, we need to. Is that legal?
International offices. Oh, it's an international office, FBI office. Leggett London legal attaché, a specialized team of special agents and cyber experts stationed at the U.S. Embassy in London. Like we've not had any Q posts talking about that.
No.
Whoa, wow. This is sounded awful like this is developing in the background.
Pesky. Shady Groove, what's your move? On or about May 16, 2017, using predetermined criteria established by Crossfire Hurricane. That's also in the Q post too. And it
Jeff,
you
know what my move is?
What?
A meme fluency.
What?
Meme fluency.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Shannon, she's
got meme fluency.
All right. So let's keep going. So Crossfire Hurricane, you look it up. It leads to Flynn. Okay. And this opened the full investigation based on the articulable factual basis. Arguable. Can I just change that to arguable? Okay.
It's a little bit argumentative.
Reasonably indicated that Donald Trump may be or had been wittingly or unwittingly involved in activities. Okay. So it kind of is, this is the closing communication, but it's kind of reiterating some of the stuff that we read in the opening. Okay. It also sought to determine whether Trump and others yet to be named obstructed or conspired. So this is it. Let me just, because we already read a lot of this. This is just, template stuff. Okay, after the appointment of the special counsel, responsibility for the caption investigation was transferred to the FBI personnel assisting the special counsel. Interesting, Shady.
Wow.
Let me go back.
More than interesting.
I need to read this, okay? We need to go back and read this. So the investigator also sought to determine, okay, we got that. The acting attorney general appointed the special counsel and authorized him to conduct the investigation confirmed by then FBI Director James Comey in testimony on 3/20/2017 regarding Russian government efforts to interfere with the 2016 U.S. presidential election, including any links or coordination between the Russian government and the Trump campaign, any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation, and any other matters with the scope of 28 CFR 600.4a. After the appointment of special counsel, responsibility to the caption investigation was transferred to the FBI personnel assisting the counsel. The investigation, the order appointing the special counsel gave the special counsel's office jurisdiction to investigate matters that arose from the FBI's Russia investigation, including whether the president has obstructed justice in connection with the Russia-related investigations. The special counsel's jurisdiction also covered potentially obstructive acts related to the special counsel's investigation itself. Special counsel's investigation included the use of a variety of investigative techniques to include grand jury subpoenas and interviews.
Huh. So, okay, that's kind of interesting to me. You said that was 3/20? 3/20, whenever that happened, right?
Yep.
Whenever this was started?
The testimony, the James Comey testimony was on 3/20/2017.
Okay. So yeah. So interestingly enough, so I'm just kind of like tracking this with, so we had Operation I'm just trying to see, like, okay, like what happens if, for instance, let's say that Flynn doesn't get fired in 23 days. What is his mission as he continues on, and what went sideways because Trump threw him out? Because this right here kind of like connects to that a little bit, because effectively you have 23 days, end of January of 2017, 23 days that was into like the beginning of late part of March or late part of February. This is happening in March. So effectively they're reorganizing within the system because they've lost their inner mole. Flynn's gone. Trump got rid of him. So I'm just trying to see, like, look at the way that they're retooling the op is what I'm seeing here in real time, as now they know Flynn's gone. Flynn was doing, chaos agent stuff, starting with the whole Kislyak call and taking the meeting with Piak and Strzok and Bianca. I believe that type of dynamic was going to continue from Flynn, and that was part of what he was there to do.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy to see that they're reorganizing this, and then it becomes Donald Trump is encouraged by the Russians to fire Comey whenever they were literally acting as a wall to prevent anybody from Russia from communicating with the incoming administration. Law enforcement trying to stop the president from communicating with foreign dignitaries.
That's right.
That's an incredible thing to be witness to for nobody to care about it.
So on 5/17/2017, the acting attorney general appointed the special counsel and authorized him to conduct the investigation confirmed by then FBI Director James Comey in testimony on 3/20/2017. Okay, that's what we were talking about there. Then we're talking about the order appointing the special counsel. We talked about that. We're on page 3 now. So the appropriate FBI resources and personnel were expended during the investigation. This investigation was limited to activities within the scope of the special counsel's jurisdiction. Disposition of evidence and leads. All 1B evidence will be handled and stored in accordance with FBI policy. All 1A evidence will be handled and stored in accordance with FBI policy. All leads have been covered or discontinued. The conclusion summary, as required by 28 CFR 600.8 Section C, the special counsel, quote, provided the attorney general with a confidential report explaining his prosecution and declinator decisions. I don't know. The report was delivered on March 22nd, 2019. The captioned investigation is being closed with closing statutes C under administrative closing. It's administrative closing code. So they administratively closed it, Shady. Wow. And that was on 4/8/2019, that document. So you got the opening right here. Let's go to the first document.
Literally 2 years plus into the first Trump administration.
Yep, 5/16/2017. 5/17/2017, they notified DOJ. And 4/8/2019, closed it.
This is so interesting, the way that this whole thing mapped out. And the event that happened with Flynn's case and the Q post that said done in 30. I want to remind everybody of this because this is very interesting. The Q post said done in 30. We kind of thought it meant 30 days. We didn't know what it meant. 30 months to the day from that Q post. Literally 30 months to the day was the day that Flynn and Powell were appearing in court so that the judge could dismiss the case that Bill Barr had decided to not prosecute. That day, Sidney Powell and Judge Sullivan conspired to elect a prosecutor to stand in the place of the Department of Justice. That is an event that has never occurred in the history of this country. That is one of the most corrupt things you could ever imagine. Imagine what I'm saying to you. I'm saying a defendant against a case. This guy that's fighting the man. Flynn is sitting there. He's fighting the man. And when the man releases his case, his lawyer conspires with the judge to elect another prosecutor to force the situation where Donald Trump has to pardon Flynn. So Flynn gets his pardon optic, and then he kicks off J6. Guys, this is an incredible can of worms. And for these idiots to be out there spreading around the idea that Flynn has been somehow exonerated in all this, it's freaking laughable at best.
Everybody loves my ha laugh, Shitty. I'm sorry. Ha! Ah! It's appropriate right now. You know, these people are insane.
A Tucker impression might be appropriate. Thank you.
All right. Let's do the Rumble Wallet ad real quick, guys, because we've got a Rumble Wallet ad for you, and we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part that most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually control your own money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money or delaying transfers or limiting access, you are in control. I know you've probably had to wait for their transfer to clear. I know you felt that problem. It's happened to me. But fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels so darn complicated. That's exactly why I use the Rumble Wallet. It takes all the complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want. Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins, even digital gold backed by real gold, guys. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay so you can use your credit card, your debit card, your bank account, and be up and running in minutes, I tell you. Once you're set up, you can even support the MG Show, your favorite creators on Rumble, or your favorite creators on Rumble, like the MG Show. So do this now, guys. Scan the QR code, click the link, and download that Rumble Wallet. And from there, you can set up your wallet and tap buy, and you're right in the game, guys. You're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Thank you.
And we got a question explain why Trump had to pardon Flynn. So effectively, the reason that Trump had to pardon Flynn is because the case was being perpetuated. It was continuing. They were like moving forward with it. They were acting like that they had some sort of ability to continue to prosecute General Flynn after the Department of Justice had relinquished the case. And so it left a situation, number one, incomplete. How does Flynn go out and say, oh, I'm the most prosecuted person, if he ends up with the DOJ dismissing the case against him? That falls a little flat, doesn't it? It really doesn't bring in the cash flow. The cash flow really comes in whenever you get the pardon.
Let me also, this is also relevant, Shady, now. Mm-hmm. So on February 14th, 2017, the day after Flynn's resignation, the president had lunch at the White House with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. According to Christie, at one point during the lunch with the president said this, quote, "Now that we fired Flynn, the Russia thing is over." End quote. Christie laughed and responded, "No way," he said. "This Russia thing is far from over, and we'll be here on Valentine's Day 2018 talking about this." The president said, "What do you mean? Flynn met with the Russians. That was the problem. I fired Flynn. It's over." Christie recalled responding that based on his experience, that both as a prosecutor and as someone who has been investigated, firing Flynn would not end the investigation. Christie said that there was no way to make an investigation shorter, but a lot of ways to make it longer. Then the president asked Christie what he meant, and Christie told the president not to talk about the investigation, even if he was frustrated at times. Christie also told the president that he would never be able to get rid of Flynn, quote, "like gum on the bottom of your shoe." And
it's just amazing whenever the more you think about this stuff, the more it just sort of unfolds. It's just really, like the whole thing with Roger Stone too, I'm thinking about as I'm watching this, the whole thing with CNN showing up at his house, and we're all to believe that, CNN is working in tandem with the FBI. We're not supposed to think that there's a possibility that Roger Stone is working with the FBI. We're not supposed to think that there's a possibility that Roger Stone set himself up to be a massive receiver of funding throughout the whole time that he's being prosecuted. What a better way. What this whole rubber bullet thing that Q explained to us might just be relevant to more people than just General Flynn. The more that I think about it, I think I could find a few other people that fit this mold that have came out and all these narratives about media cooperation with the FBI. What if the perpetrator is even a cooperating person with the FBI, working with CNN and giving the call? Speculation could be made for that very, very easily. Speculation, completely speculating.
Wow. Gum on the bottom of your shoe.
It just all syncs up. So, Chris Christie acts like in that statement that he knows a lot of stuff you don't know. Roger Stone acts like in everything that he says, they go on there and they talk down to you. Like, I can see people talking down to me. I know what it looks like. And whenever people are talking down to me, I immediately recognize that you have no right to be talking down to me. If anything, I should be talking down to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I want to also bring up, too, because this is around 4/4/2017, okay? It's this post right here. This is 1290. Normies only watch CNN. They don't even know any of this happening. We're too smug. Hope not. Might as well go sit in the CIA. Russia grounding our military planes in Syria. Military aircraft crashing in U.S. Coincidence? Autists need Red Bull? Well, who was offered Red Bull? So Susan Rice became the target of a conservative attacks over Flynn unmasking because she should give him a case of Red Bull, okay? People forget this part.
That instead of a baton, I'd better be passing you a case of Red Bull. But
pretty wild, huh? So you got that, and then you've got this is a symbolic handshake representing the handoff. There's the full handoff. I've got that for you. Then you've got the top Trump aide, Flynn, paid $30,000 by Russian TV. Did General Flynn sell military tech to Russia? Russia grounding our planes in Syria, military aircraft crashing, coincidence, autists need Red Bull? Okay. What about this one? Michael Flynn had a role in a firm co-led by a man who tried to sell material to the KGB, aka Russian intelligence. Huh? Maybe that's part of it. How about Michael Flynn's sentencing delayed? A judge tells ex-Trump official, you sold your country out. Rubber bullet? Flynn's lawyers and prosecutors from special counsel Robert Mueller's were placed and prepared to argue in U.S. District Court that Flynn received either no jail time at all. Okay? They didn't want, the corrupt FBI didn't want him to have jail time.
Because he was an asset.
Wow.
He was being used as an asset and or in portion with directing the whole fiasco. There's no way that this guy isn't part of this. Patrick Byrne has come out and told us he's a CIA guy.
Yeah.
That's his money man. He's told us that he paid for Enrique and Proud Boys to show up at J6. Well, what did they do? They stormed the Capitol and they started breaking things. Yeah. There's no grandma or grandpa or America-loving patriot that walked into the Capitol that day and broke one thing. Not a real patriot didn't pick up a single thing or move an item. The real patriots that were in the Capitol that day took pictures of themselves and they thought it was great. They probably sang some songs and they maybe said they maybe uttered a couple of their little patriotic words of encouragement or whatever it was they spoke there at the Capitol that day. It's irrelevant. Maybe they said the Pledge of Allegiance, but they didn't break anything. The people that broke things on that day were the Flynn crew. This crew of people dead set on smearing us and making it look like that we are equal to Antifa, so Antifa could hate on us as much as they wanted to, and the media could cover for it, and they could say, Summer of Love whenever they're burning down your city, and a bunch of racist Nazis whenever they're cleaning it up.
And look at this. This is their narrative. Vice President Michael Flynn would make President Donald Trump assassination proof. Cernovich, Flynn Network. Trump needs a VP that will make him assassination proof. This was May of 2024, and just what? June, July?
2 months.
Okay. Okay. Wow, guys.
It is wow. Because the month before that, Ivan Ranklin was on Alex Jones saying that we got to take Trump out because we got to get our better guy in, our guy that's 10 times better. Ivan Ranklin said on air that Flynn is 10 times better than Trump.
Yeah.
That's insane.
This is a message directly to every single person on the deep state target list.
This is funny. Watch Alex.
My assessment, Ivan Ranklin's assessment, that if you assassinate any political presidential candidate, whether it's RFK, whether it's Trump, guess what? America will do the following immediately. They will respond in kind, and they know who you are because we've created the list. So if you
and that's a major Rubicon. They should know that
immediately. You're going to see immediately response. And there are only a few buildings in Washington, D.C. that they will probably do that.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but these people are crazy.
And having said that, if they do that, option 2 behind Trump is going to be so much better for us And so much worse.
I was about to say, if they kill him, that's best case scenario. From
best case scenario.
From a sick level beating him, oh, please kill him, but it's so good after that.
Please kill him.
It's going to be the best cleansing and the fastest cleansing that we've ever seen in my lifetime. I assess with almost certainty, with the highest level of confidence, that if they assassinate Trump, it is so game over for them, and it's going to be so fast. Who then takes the reign if they do that to Trump?
I don't know.
You do know.
Elon!
Who? Tucker Carlson?
Put him on the struggle bus.
Who's in the best position to completely castrate the deep state and crush the commies? It has the understanding of the national security order to go ahead
Elon Musk.
Just clean house. He can't be president.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
He's going to be vital.
He's basically already the president.
No, he's going to be vital in the conversation. I just think that General Flynn becomes the inevitable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, General Flynn, obviously. Yeah.
It's inevitable if they do that. So think about it. Trump's probably going to be better for them. Because if General Flynn, think about it. The people that General Flynn would bring into the administration.
Keck.
The globalists are all going to prison.
Right. That's what's happening.
Rubicon.
Wow, guys. And then, just so you know, too, General Flynn didn't, 10 days before when did Flynn actually?
Yes. It was 596 days after Donald Trump had made the announcement that General Flynn endorsed him, literally less than 2 weeks before the day that they took the shot at him in Butler. While he was out there on his bus tour, he'd been on his bus tour promoting the movie for a couple of months. And he was realizing he wasn't getting any traction, and he probably wasn't going to be the president unless somebody were to take action. So he was ready and in place just in case. And unfortunately, they missed.
Yeah, thank God.
For him.
Wow.
But really, you see that right there. You see that rhetoric. Yep.
Flynn endorsed Trump 597 days later. Trump announced his intention to run for president on 11/15/2022. General Flynn waited 1 year, 232 days, or 1 year, 7 months, 19 days, 1 year, 33 weeks, 1 day, 19 months, 19 days, 85 weeks, 2 days, or 597 days. And this was done on July 3rd.
Better late than never.
And when was Donald Trump?
13th.
Yeah, 10 days.
10 days.
So why do you think that they want to run him for president? And why do you think they want to run him for president again? Will it keep him safe? Is that why they want to? Is Flynn thinking that because I'm going to run for president, I'm not going to get any charges?
That's a good theory.
Yeah, tracing justice. Thank you. He mentioned that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. So there you go, Shady Group. That's a little bit of stuff there. By the way, here, I have zero interest in working with anyone who is a former colleague, General Flynn, that disappeared upon our departure from the White House and was nowhere to be found when DJT announced his candidacy on 11/15/2022, or was silent throughout 2023. Stop calling. Stop emailing. Stop texting. You're not hearing back from me.
That is a direct message to Flynn camp.
Yeah.
There's nobody else out there that would have deserved a message like that. Nobody else out there didn't correspond with him. This is the group of people that didn't correspond. This is the group of people that didn't endorse. This is the group of people that were running Badlands media. They weren't even excited whenever Donald Trump announced that he was running. They were like, oh, well, that's not really a big deal. Yeah. Like literally like saying that. Like this is the type of people. And then we're like looking at these people crossways. Like, what are you, like, number one, they act like it's some sort of foregone conclusion that Trump's going to run. I didn't know for sure that Donald Trump, I was hoping that he was going to run. But you would sit there in your own position and think, man, I could live a better life if I didn't run. So until he announced, we didn't know that he was going to run. Okay. And so whenever he announced, you're supposed to be excited about it. But no, the operators run right to the microphones to tell you that there's something wrong with you if you didn't know it was already going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And, another weird fact, too, is when Trump was shot at, it was Ephesians 5:11. Like, was it 6:11? Sorry, 6:11.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Local time.
Man. Local time. Yep.
Well, I think it was East time, but yeah, it was but the interesting thing is like the dynamic of how a lot of these things these events get coded.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing that happened with Charlie Kirk the day before 9/11. You know, like just look. So what I'm saying to you is like, you know, what Matthew was talking about earlier. You know, we're not struggling against flesh and blood. We're struggling against principalities. The principalities can make suggestions. They can push people. They can create situations around people. It doesn't force a situation, but it sure does encourage the person or the event to happen at a specific time that'll have greater impact. You know, the idea of ritual, quote unquote, ritual sacrifice isn't just about, you know, other things. It's also about regular people and opportunities to take them out.
Yeah.
Politically.
You know, and I remember when I made this post on 9/11/2023, all I said was how convenient. Biden's DOJ quiet. I didn't even put Biden's DOJ. DOJ quietly drops FARA case against General Flynn's business partner after judge tossed conviction for insufficient evidence. That's all I put. And General Flynn went ape shit on me, Shady.
Yeah, and that was just short of 2 years before Charlie.
Yeah.
Or just after, yeah. You said 9/11/23?
Yeah.
Yep, Charlie was what, 9/10/25.
Yeah. And Soros judges are a good thing, right, General Flynn?
Oh yeah.
Right.
They really are. They let my people go. I think they did. They might have let it. They let him loose.
Yeah. I'm trying to see.
But aren't you guys seeing it? Aren't you guys seeing this unbelievable dynamic? Now we have this whole new energy of all these people. We had Justice Cummins come out the other day and explained that he was acknowledging that the things that he's seeing about Flynn are more than concerning. It's overwhelming what it is that's actually there. And nobody wants to have us still. We're still to the point. None of them, every single one of them did the exact same thing that they did to us. No. Why can't you have a conversation? Why can't you explain to the man why his concerns are invalid instead of like calling him names? Oh, wait, you don't have an explanation. All you have is a narrative. General Flynn says, they try to assassinate my narrative. No, we don't try. We don't try at anything. We do assassinate your dumb narrative. Why? Because it's terrible. If you had a good narrative that could convince somebody, we wouldn't be able to assassinate it. Why? Because we'd be convinced by it. But we weren't convinced, so we had to assassinate it because it's horse shit.
Tracing Justice says, are you seeing it yet? We've been seeing it for a long time, and there's so much. That's the problem, right?
It's so much bigger.
It's
Like,
not
we
like
don't talk about 10% of it.
Yeah, we don't. It's not like we got one little thing against. I've got so much research, guys. It's crazy. You know.
Yeah, but and actually, it's not crazy. What it is amazing because now Twitter search function works, and I can actually go back and find it whenever I need a piece of something, like whatever, you know, like that is his Twitter account. If you are not using that as a resource to go back and find this unbelievable stuff, I mean, I don't really know what else to tell you because it's all there, and it's the search actually works now. It didn't work for years.
So let's do this. Let's just show the people what we mean. I have 139.8 thousand posts, Shady. Holy moly.
Yeah, a lot to say. That's some free speech right there.
Oh my goodness. But it was banned for 803 days. And then my search function didn't work. So let's look at, what do you want to search, Shady?
Shady Groove.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Let's just put Flynn. Okay, since you're not going to, let's put Flynn.
I'm not going to play.
Let's put Flynn and something else. What do you want to talk about? Rolling Stone?
Oh yeah, I was going to say the Hastings is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. We've been exposing this since 8/8/2023, MG show, talking about the Hastings stuff, Roger Stone.
I don't think that Justice has seen some of those posts from Joe Flynn. I don't know if they're in that thread.
Yeah.
But the posts from Joe Flynn are very interesting too, where he's like, cargo boom or something like that.
Yeah, it was creepy, dude.
The day after. Hey, Song Babe, good to see you.
Yeah. So you can search stuff on my or Shady's account or anybody else's for that matter.
It actually works now.
It works now. Finally, it took them 3 years. Yeah. So that, and by the way, the first person that came out, for Hastings was Joe Biggs, Flynn operative. Back then, Shady. It's crazy.
Alex Jones.
Tell you what.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? It really is interesting how he had direct connections. And then Q mentioned the stuff about the cars and the cars being able to be remotely controlled. And then the comments from Joe Flynn were very crass, to say the least. To say the least, from a guy that for that they had threatened. Flynn had threatened him. He was directly threatened. Flynn and McChrystal threatened this guy from the Rolling Stone to not write the article that he ended up writing that was detrimental to both of their careers. The Pope took a hit
in May.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that, Jeff. They don't want to talk about like what Q was talking about.
So the Pope was Stanley McChrystal. That was his nickname, guys. The Pope. Mm-hmm. The Pope will be having a terrible May. That article came out in May. Okay. Those that backed him will be exposed. General Flynn is right behind him. So is Hillary. So is Obama. So is all the whole deep state, guys. Wow. All right.
It was a great show.
That was a great show, Shady Groove.
Now,
do you guys think it was a good show? Let's see some 48s in the chat.
48 in the chat. Shady's going to thank everybody for coming over last night. We had some massive difficulties getting the show started. We apologize for that greatly. Nothing is lost. It is all still here. A few people were asking if the broadcast happened somewhere else. The broadcast didn't go live. We will be doing it next Tuesday night. We're just going to simply push it back a week. It's no big deal. Thank you guys all for being there, and sorry that we couldn't get it to happen, but that's what happens in live broadcasting. It doesn't always work out. So God bless all of you. Yes. Go to MG Show or MG Radio. You're not going to be disappointed. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you open that on your phone, you're going to be listening to that all day. It's really good to you're hearing all these songs about Q. We by far have the best catalog of AI music of any content creator on the internet. Guarantee it.
Amen to that. And we got some naked people in here. Please get them some red castles, guys. We love you. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Donate if you love us.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to stay and listen to this.
On mute?
Nope.
Come on.
It's Jeff and Shannon spitting raw, no filter. Matrix shady in the game, truth's the real thriller. 12 noon until 2 is the daily grind. Dropping red pills for the open mind. 2 dudes delivering news, no fake or fact. Mega Trump in the cut, bringing power back. MG Show on the mic, breaking down the code. Q Lounge Live, where the secrets unload. Shady Groove and the Matrix, spinning the sound. East Coast, West Coast, truth coming around. Shady Groove and the Matrix, feel the vibe unfold. Truth learned, never told. Breaking the mold. Matrix, shady shadow moves in the night. They cut the code in the system, bringing dark to light. Clock ticks, are we live? Are we live? The guys on the scene watch the news revive. Matrix slam voices right, leading the fight. Shady groove in the mix, keeping it tight. MG Show, we expose, no cap, no lie. Q Lounge Live, where the Patriots fly. Sharper than the blade in the Matrix game. We never fade. Shady groove and the Matrix, spinning the sound. East Coast, West Coast, truth coming around. Shady groove and the Matrix, feel the vibe unfold. Truth learned, never told. Breaking the mold. Shady groove and the Matrix, spinning the sound. East Coast, West Coast, truth coming around. Shady groove and the Matrix, feel the vibe unfold. Truth learned, never told. Breaking the mold. Jeff Shannon signing off, the mission's clear. Matrix shady in your ear, no fear. From the MG show to the Q Lounge stage, we're dropping truth bombs, turning the page.
www.mg.show. Boom. That song is